Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Bork. In today's video we'll be going over the clan battle for August 2021 and not to mention the double units or the new type of units being added to JP. If we go into clan battle right here, you can see like the scores are being tallied and whatnot, right? But we're gonna go here into clear info and we're just gonna go over the bosses and my thoughts on them. Now the most difficult boss in my opinion out of everyone that we were pretty much fighting, it has to be Orchy. This dude was absolutely insane with the amount of damage he was dealing. It was just nonsensical to say the least. So this is going to be the sheets by Tomias's group, right? And thank you to by VX right here. And then if you go over into Autolap 2, that's the teams that we were mostly running, right? We were running some sort of like June variant in some ways. Like we were able to run the June Saren comp, and I would say like this was the comp that was the most fun to run that was actually auto. As you can see here, there were other versions of like the June Saren comp, but personally speaking, when it came down to the Orc boss, he was just so annoying because he had such high potential for killing Makoto if she was below 9.5 or 9.6. So essentially, if you had like a bricked Makoto or a Makoto that was at 9.5, she was gonna die. But if your Makoto was bricked, she had a higher chance of living and you had the potential of doing more damage on your run. So it was like the most difficult boss to like sort of translate into a team because it was like you should technically have a higher, Makoto if you want to deal more damage. I know it's very counterintuitive, so it was just one of those things. If you did manage to run it on auto, kudos to you, because this was by far the most difficult boss to run on auto. If you look at the other bosses, like comparatively, like Wyvern here, it was like 1.2 mil was the average damage, 1.1, 1.3. Ryrai wasn't too bad, it was like 1.2, 1.4. And then when it came to Orc, he had like 1.05, like below 1 million, if it was an auto team. And then for Horse, it was easily like 1.4 because Horse is pretty fragile. And then when it came to Glutton, you can see there was like 1.1, 1.2. There is like 960k teams, but this is because you're running like a magic team that was sort of like inefficient with like Lima. But if you ran like more of a physical team, it would work out better. Ayane was definitely the MVP for this run because whenever the Glutton boss would like raise his hands, right, he would raise them in the air and he would steal all of your TP. This guy was so annoying with that ability. I could not stand him with how much damage he was dealing, just because there was no other boss that I've seen that would steal everyone's TP at once. There is bosses that will steal like one person's TP, but he would steal like as many people's TP as possible, hence the name Glutton. And if there was any other boss that I could replace, it would still be like the Ox boss, but this guy was pretty annoying. You were able to deal like a significant amount of damage with like specific teams if you ran Ayane on manual, and this is definitely one of the most high damaging teams that I would see. But if you ran it on auto, is definitely a loss in damage, but I feel like a lot of people know that. And then when it comes to Ryrai, honestly the Ilya comp was the one to run. Very interesting because Ilya's supposed to be a PvP unit, but as you guys have slowly probably figured out, Ilya is definitely one to look out for when it comes to actual clan battle. Ryrai was not as bad as I thought, but definitely an annoying boss. I feel like Griffin is a little bit easier to fight just because you can deal more damage to Griffin, whereas Ryrai, she seems to be a little bit more damage resistant from what I can tell. We're running magic teams against it, and magic teams don't deal too much damage. Now before we jump into the next news bits, just note this is going to be a huge spoiler on JP, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, and here's a spoiler. So this is going to be the new version or the double characters in JP. Looks absolutely amazing. It's going to be Hatsune and Shori. They do show a little clip right here if you guys want to see it, and it's going to be like Hatsune and Shori going all out, the 3.5 anniversary for Princess Connect Redive. I'll leave links down in the description in case you guys want to look at it. I know it's a little bit blurry, but for the most part they're just teasing like the 2D art sort of deal and like the animations and stuff. Personally speaking, I think it's a good thing that they're making like this sort of jump, but at the same time I am a bit scared. If you actually do the Google Translates right here, it'll tell you that the appearance rate of the 3 characters will be doubled and the offer rate of pre-fest characters including Hatsune and Shori will be increased. From what I've been reading, they are more of a, how do I say this, a backline sort of unit. They say this character is a rear guard that increases power based off of the number of enemies and strengthens the allies around you and wipes out the enemies that are blocking you. So in my opinion, it does not seem like it's going to be single target friendly from what I can tell just based off of the Google Translate description, but who knows. Honestly, with the release of double characters like this has happened in other games like One Piece Treasure Cruise, and this happens with really like older games. Honestly speaking, I'm sort of excited for it, but at the same time it really makes me question if the game is going to go into a power creep sort of state. I don't think it will really do that because Cygames is really good about like balancing their games. All right, let's go ahead and jump into some Princess Arena instead of Battle Arena. Overall thoughts when it comes to clan battle, I really enjoyed myself. I just don't think it was like the funnest clan battle compared to like everything else, mostly because this clan battle required like a lot of more coordination than usual. Just because it was on the weekend, I feel like people were more flexible, so it ended up being more of like, hey, you know, who can like attack and do things at any time period whatsoever. And I think that was like my own like fault for thinking that I was going to be available during my birthday weekend, and I was not like as available, so it was a little rough for me in clan battle. But I think that's going to be more of a time thing, a personal thing. I'm curious how you guys like this clan battle. Did you guys enjoy the Glutton boss? Did you like Ryrai instead of Griffin? Personally speaking, I do miss Griffin, just because Griffin, like I said earlier, it's much easier to deal damage on him or her. I'm not sure what Griffin is, but when it comes to Ryrai, it was just interesting to run the Ilya comps. It always gives me anxiety running Ilya comps because Ilya has a super high chance of essentially critting herself and ending the entire run with a bunch of sadness. Right here, I'm kind of curious if we manage to take down this team, because Miyako is the front runner right here, but they do have the Kuka, and you guys know Kuka does massive, like, you know, magical tanking, and so long as Kuka's alive, we're essentially gimped right here. But I'm kind of surprised we have like stayed alive with like the Tamaki being around. I'm guessing the Nozomi with her taunts did really well, so we're doing that right now. All right, Pekarine is an absolute menace, especially at 5-star, and I'm curious what's going to be happening since unique equipment is going to be around the corner. I think Luna Tower is going to be around the corner as well. In the coming months, we're going to be getting, you know, more content updates and all that stuff, but it's also going to be a great time for folks to save because the Halloween characters are going to be releasing fairly soon, so a lot of people won't have to pull for that unless you're a PvP maniac. Then I completely understand. Everyone pulling for Halloween Shinobu, good luck. I'm also kind of curious how you guys think of the new units in JP if you guys watched that portion of the video, because mostly when it comes to new units that were, you know, sort of displayed like that, I'm not sure how I feel about them, because units that have that capability of power, you know, that strength where it's multiplied, it just really like rubs me in a way where it's like, is this gonna be good? But at the end of the day, I trust side games. I'm sure everything's gonna be okay. And then let's go ahead and jump over into the back. Now, I did see some like complaints about the Ironclad Nightmare event, mostly because it pertained to like the June shards actually dropping from here being absolutely maniacal. I heard it was really terrible. Let's go ahead and just do the very hard. This is the team that I've been running personally. I have to make sure like all of the buttons are in place because I ran this like not on auto and I dealt like no damage, but usually I can one turn this team if I am lucky, if not 2 turn by the minimum. And we'll also talk about like the hard stages because I feel like everyone should be farming specific nodes such as, you know, Arisa and Jita and June. I feel like that should be the priority for everyone. And if you notice something with my June, she is going to be 5-star now. And the only reason why she is 5-star is because there is some sort of thing where if June has a little bit more health, a little bit more helpful towards the other units staying alive. This is particular to like bosses and stuff. It doesn't really matter for like nuances in PvE in my opinion. But of course, you know, more stars for your tanks helps overall. I know like some people are like, is 5-star June required moving forward? No, absolutely not. 5-star June, I actually spent a little bit of divine amulets just to get her to this level. I didn't have enough from the event being provided. So as you can see here, we're at 20 seconds left and everyone's 5-star. So maybe 5-star June is able to like keep everyone alive. Relatively speaking, usually like my Makoto or someone dies right here. Since I guess I have 5-star June, this run might be a one-hitter. All right, yeah, I guess that was like the missing piece to the puzzle for me. Kind of interesting there. I don't recommend people to 5-star June just because you can one-turn this run. If you guys are wondering, yes, you know, June's unique equipment will be along the way. Unique equipment will be eating away at a lot of shards, so I highly recommend it. Let's go ahead and talk about hard mode really quick. Arisa, make sure to clear her out, and if you can, try to do some extra attempts. And then when it comes to June shards, you know, you don't have to do extra attempts because we have the event currently occurring, but I still recommend doing it. And of course for Jita, I recommend doing all 3, then refreshing it. And some other units that you might want to look into 5-starring is definitely going to be Pekarine. We'll go into the bonus shop later. And then of course I would work on Akane if you can, and don't forget about Lima, she's gonna be really good. And start working on your Ninons, and most importantly Ray is going to be one of those characters that you're gonna want to 5-star. So the sooner you 5-star her and the unit going to roll around, I highly recommend building her. But yeah, those are my thoughts when it comes to hard nodes, the clan battles, the new units coming to JP. Overall, mixed emotions with clan battle. I hope it gets better in the future with everything concerned on this front, because time management is always seems to be key with this one. But anyways, if you made it this far, consider subscribing, drop dropping a like, leaving a comment. Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Once we hit 27,500 subs, we're doing a giveaway. Hopefully the tips on clan battle and hard nodes and the JP stuff got you excited. Can't wait for the Luna Tower content to drop, not to mention the Halloween stuff. But yeah, thanks so much for watching and have yourself a fantastic day. See you in the next one.